Welcome to the Digital Real Estate Secrets Podcast. This is episode number 12. My name is Nick Wood, and today we're going to be addressing the question, does digital real estate work outside the US? Because in most of the content that I produce, and a lot of the content that most other people produce, it is the US, the United States, at least North America. I know there's some people that talk about Canada. The question is, does this actually work outside the US? Maybe you're somebody that's in Australia. Maybe you're somebody that's in Asia, and maybe you're not from Asia, but you're just traveling to Asia and you're on a sabbatical, or you're doing the laptop lifestyle. Maybe you're in South America. Maybe you're in who knows where, UK, Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, whatever, France, whatever the case is. We're going to be discussing that today. So guys, I'm really excited. We're going to have a special guest joining us today. It's actually one of my own students who has done exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to be getting his experience, the pros, the cons, the challenges, the things, the advantages from doing business, doing the rank and rent business outside of the US. Now, for those of you that hear me using rank and rent and digital real estate, those are the exact same thing. We're talking about the simple business model of building websites, ranking them on Google, and renting them to local business owners and getting freaking paid. So if I say rank and rent, I mean the same thing as if I say digital real estate. Okay, so guys, really the question that everyone's asking, and if you have this question, what you're actually asking is, can I do this business in my country or in the country I have in mind? And so one thing I want to mention really quick, guys, is every person on this planet that I've talked to, that I've worked with, that I've discussed possibly working with, we always have a yeah, but. And what I mean by that is that it's human nature to say, okay, it works for them, it works for him, it works for her, but my situation is different because. And I'll tell you what, when I first got into this business in 2016, I had yeah, buts, okay? You know, at that time it was 2016. I knew how to sell because I was selling door to door. But if you would have asked me in 2012, I would have been like, yeah, but I don't know how to sell. But now I knew how to sell, and it was like, yeah, but I don't know how to build a website. Yeah, but I'm not technical. Yeah, but I don't have experience in the trades. I don't have experience in these different services, right? I didn't know how to sell. Yeah, I know how to sell, but I don't know how to sell over the phone. And so if you're sitting there going, yeah, but for any number of reasons, or any whatever that but is, just know you are not alone. Everyone has them, okay? Also, I should mention before you even think about listening to me, if you're brand new to this podcast, and you have no idea who I am, do not trust a word that I have to say. I just recently changed my Instagram bio. I want to read it to you guys because I think it was very fitting, and I mean it. And what it says, if you guys aren't following me, by the way, quick little plug, at Digital Drug Dealing is my Instagram. It says, just another annoying internet marketer peddling his BS. Don't believe anything I say. And I want to honestly let you know that I believe that. I stand by that. I mean that. It isn't a catchy little phrase. The reason being is I don't think you should believe anything anybody says, because the internet is the internet and everyone's full of crap. So just assume I'm full of crap, but take what you hear today and ask yourself, does it resonate? Does it sound legit? Guys, when you get a little bit older, when you've been in business, you can start, your BS meter starts to really get honed in. And you can immediately tell when someone starts to talk, okay, this person's full of absolute garbage, right? That sounds way too good to be true. And you can also tell when people are telling you something and you're like, yeah, that person's legit. I can just tell. Now, you're not always 100% correct, but it's pretty good. Your gut usually tells you. So I want you to listen to this today. And at any point, if you think I am full of crap, turn off the episode and never come back, okay? And I will take that one on the chin. Also, you should know that I have been doing this for 8 years. And not that I did it 8 years or I did it for 4 years and I stopped. I'm not somebody that retired, hung up their jersey, and now I'm just teaching this, even though I am teaching this inside of my digital landlords community. But I am somebody that's doing this every single week. And as of lately, because I'm back in the trenches very much so now, every single day. And the reason why I say very much so now is there was a time when when I started Digital Landlords, I got my main employee, her name's Francesca. She was amazing. And I said, hey, what do you think about having a more active role, a bigger role inside of Digital Landlords, where you're actually doing most of the work? I'm helping, kind of advising. Maybe I come in and help close a big deal, whatever, but you're doing most of the work. And she was very excited about it. We did that transition, and I haven't closed deals inside of my agency for a long time because I've been focusing on Digital Landlords, and I've did it on purpose. However, recently, as we're getting ready to launch the new version of our training, which is going to be version 3.0 of Digital Landlords, I thought, you know what? It only makes sense for me to really, even though I am still actively every single week we're talking, I know, what deals we're doing, what niches we're in. She's asking me questions. I'm still very much just at a different role, at a different capacity. I'm like, I want to get back into I want to get some dirt under my fingernails. So guys, literally yesterday I spent an hour doing due diligence. Or I guess it was probably realistically more around like 40 minutes doing due diligence, meaning looking at cities, looking at niches, looking at the search volume, looking at this, looking at that. Found a new niche. I found somebody that had a website for sale, and we went in, we made an offer. Like I'm not just in it. I got dirt under the fingernails right now, and it's actually really, really exciting. And I'm pumped about it. So, guys, I've made millions, I've lost millions in this business, but I've done that from the actual business itself, which is building simple sites, ranking them, and renting them. Not just from selling a tool, not just from selling a course, whatever the case is. I'm talking about actually doing the business, and I do it to this day. I've been getting paid from sites that I built back in 2020, 2019. I'm getting paid every single month. Some of these sites now started at 225 bucks, 250 bucks a week, $1,000 a month. These sites have now paid me upwards of $50,000 over the course of these 4 or 5 years that I've been working with these clients, which is absolutely insane from a crappy little website that I spent 1 week to build and it cost me 80 bucks to build. So that said, guys, don't listen to anything I have to say, but put it to the test it, try it. If it sounds good, then give it a try. And if it's good, it should work, right? As long as you do it correctly. Guys, here's my goal for today's episode. Here's my plan. My goal, my promise to you guys is that by the end of this episode, you are going to be able to confidently choose whether you should do rank and rent in your own country or the country that you have in mind, or if you should just focus on the US or not do it at all. Okay, that's my goal. I want you to have that information. Okay, I want to say this too, real quick, guys. Full disclaimer: whenever I talk about a niche, whenever I talk about something that I haven't personally done, I always want to let you guys know, and I will tell you right now, I have not done rank and rent outside the US. And the reason is very simple. Okay, I don't need to. There's so much money to be made doing what I'm doing in just a couple of niches inside of my home country. It makes no sense for me to go and try and get shiny penny syndrome and go, oh, let me go to this country. Let me go to this country. Let me go to this country. So if you are somebody that's in the US, I would ask you, why are you thinking about going outside of the country? Now, if you're somebody that's sitting in Dubai, which by the way, I'm in Dubai right now, and you're thinking, hey, I wonder if this would work for Dubai. That's a different scenario. Okay. But don't get shiny penny syndrome with location, with where you're going to target, in the same way that you shouldn't get shiny penny syndrome with other business opportunities, with other business services. Okay. So the reason is simple: I don't need to. However, out of curiosity, we are going to be running some tests, and I am really excited about this test. I'm not going to give too much information, but just so you know, everything we talk about today, that's why I felt like it was pertinent to bring on a special guest, somebody that's actually done it. And I'm excited to introduce to you guys my man. His name is Michael Vale. So let me bring him on. Hold on one moment. All right, we've got Mike V. Mike V, what's going on, dude?
All right, how you doing?
Oh man, doing amazing. And I'm in Dubai, you're in Thailand, correct?
We're in Korea for a little side quest back to Thailand after.
Wait, you're where?
We're in Korea, South Korea, Seoul. Seoul.
Ah, dope. How far is that? Did you drive? I mean, did you fly, and how far is the flight?
I was like a 6-hour flight from Thailand, so I'm making the most of being based out of Thailand, just exploring Asia. My friend's from New Zealand's Korean, so he's taking us on a little trip around, which is cool.
Dope, dude. I love that. I love that. So, real quick, I want to get into some of that. Mike is living the laptop lifestyle 100%. He's like Tim Ferriss version 2.0. Moved to Thailand. We're gonna get into that whole story. Well, actually, maybe let's just start there, dude. So, tell everyone, kind of giving them the recap. I know we've had you on inside of our community, inside Digital Landlords. You're one of our students. You've been in there for about 2 years. So first of all, tell everyone how much you're making per month right now, and then what you were doing 2 years ago to kind of show them the difference in how far you've come, and just to kind of paint a picture of what's possible.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, in the last 2 or 3 months, I've made 40K plus. Last month, October was 45. 2 years ago, I was making about Well, 2 years ago, technically, I was in digital landlords for a couple of weeks. So I was on 8K a month. But before I joined, which was only like 8 weeks before that, I was on about $1,000 a month. Uh, yeah, got a good stable of clients at the moment. Got about 32 on retainer, which is really good. not much churn, but if someone goes, like you've still got a large stable of clients. So and if you've got the leads coming in or if you've got your cold call strategy going, then it makes for a pretty secure financial position. But yeah, I mean, 2 years ago I was at the 9 to 5 corporate job and been traveling Thailand and Asia for the last 2 years, making good money. Been doing the Tim Ferriss thing. So yeah,
And let's clarify, this is 40,000 US, big boy dollars, right?
big boy dollars. We don't talk New Zealand dollars anymore unless I'm with my Kiwi friends.
I love that. I love that. So let's just real quick, just to kind of address the elephant in the room so everyone knows, tell everyone where all of your money is coming from. Obviously, it's coming from the interwebs. It's digital because that's how you're able to travel, but where are all of your clients based?
I think 97% are in New Zealand, and then I've got 3% in Australia.
So, but okay, so 97 and 3, but none of the
New Zealand.
none in the US.
Yeah. I've got a student in the US, but no clients. He's
Okay.
in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, so that's it. Okay, there episode's over. You can do rank and rent outside the US. No, I'm kidding. Um you were 2 years ago roughly making 8K a month. Was that US or Australian, by the way?
Yeah, big boy dollars.
So you're making 8K US, which is decent, but it's not enough to travel, it's not enough to live a life. And now fast forward 2 years later, you are making $40,000 per month, 32 clients, spending your life. I mean, let's just talk about some of the places you've traveled this year. Obviously, you live in a vacation spot. No, Thailand is somewhere everybody wants to go, including myself. Where are some of the places you've been able to travel, I guess, this year? Or maybe just kind of mention a few of the ones since you started doing this, because Mike has a really cool story. He basically, instead of tiptoeing his way into this business, he kind of just threw caution to the wind and went all in, and he came up big. But tell people some of the places you've been able to travel with this laptop lifestyle.
I mean, the last 2 years I've done, yeah, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Bali, uh, in Korea at the moment. I've also gone home to New Zealand once and recently went to Australia for a family trip, catch up with some people. Where else? Yeah, just been rotating through those quite a lot, but I've been primarily based out of Thailand. Uh, Next year I plan on just doing more trips out of Thailand, based up in Bangkok. Got a good network of people. We've got two guys in digital landlords in Thailand too. One of my good friends. Uh, and then yeah, next year looking to kind of do the same thing. Based up in Europe and then travel around, tick everything off. Same with South America. And after all that, I'll probably get back to Thailand. I really like it here.
You see it being your base long term?
Yeah, I mean for the next 5 years, I'd like to go to Dubai. I've got some friends there. Uh, Not enough trees for me, but we'll give it a shot. We're only on the earth once, so might as well try everything out, right?
It's the
How
desert,
you
bro.
liking it?
It's the desert. No, it's amazing. It's got everything that I love. It's got money. It's got beautiful people. It's got I mean, dude, I've heard like 4 Lamborghinis go down the street since I woke up.
Yeah,
It's got nice restaurants or something every night. Dude, it checks all the boxes for me. So it's got good
sick.
diversity. It's amazing, but you should come out. Okay, bro, did you have doubts when you first started this? Did you have doubts that this model might not work outside the US? Because I know there's people that have started working with us, they've joined our community, whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, this is a great business model. It works for you, Nick, but I don't know, man. It might just only work in the US." Because I hear this often. Did you personally have those doubts?
No, I knew I was convicted that it was going to work.
How come?
Uh, I mean, to expand on that, you have to be convicted on something so that your subconscious is programmed for it to be successful, right? So if you're convicted that it's going to work, it's going to work. If you don't think it's going to work, then you're going to be acting from a place of I don't think this is going to work. So you're not going to put in the work. When you're on the cold calls, you're not going to be successful. When you're doing everything, it's just not going to work. The mindset's not programmed correctly. I mean, to be fair, if I was in North Korea or South Korea where doesn't work, then it probably wouldn't have worked. But at the
Huh.
same time, there's probably search engines or places that people go in Korea or North Korea where they go to get a tradesperson or a concrete laid. So I'm sure she'd be potentially be able to figure it out. I'm pretty confident I could have done it in South Korea, even
Maybe
if I don't
that's a
have
good
Google.
take.
If that makes sense.
Let's do a case study. Rank and rent in South Korea, or even better, North Korea. Good luck on that one. I,
I mean, I'm sure they use a search engine somewhere.
For sure, for sure. But see that's the mindset, and I don't want to get too off in the weeds, but like it's there's that quote like whether you think you can, you think you can't, you're right. And dude, when I was just barely talking about this on a YouTube video I made, talking about like when you come into the holiday season, right? Everyone has in their mind that like it's gonna be slow and no one's gonna buy and all this stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, if you're thinking that, that's what's gonna happen. But dude, if you go in and you're like, yo, this is the best time for people to buy because no one else is doing it. This is where I'm going to find all the hungry business owners. Leads are slow. That's a can be a bad thing, but it's also a good thing because these leads are more valuable. Dude, I had my biggest month of the entire year a couple of years ago in November. Of all the months, it
Yeah.
was in November. So back to your point, dude, I'm not surprised by your answer because that's just your personality and that's why you've been successful. But yeah, guys, and again, you could live. So Mike's from New Zealand. He's living in Thailand, but he's doing deals in New Zealand. Let's talk about some of the nuances. How do you, first of all, is there a time difference there
I was like 6 hours.
behind or for like is New Zealand 6 hours in front of Thailand or behind?
New Zealand's 6 hours in front.
Okay. So
So 6
how do you
six
deal with
p.m.
that?
New Zealand. Sorry, 6 p.m. New Zealand's like midday in Thailand.
Okay, so what is because of that, you wake up first thing you're hitting cold calls. Like tell us how you navigate that.
I usually wake up at like 10 a.m., which is probably 4 p.m. in New Zealand.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're yeah, the business works for me, right? So, I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. trying to call people, but yeah, I mean, after work, it's always a good time to talk to business owners.
So, okay, tell me about this. And by the way, I really agree with you. I used to be Mr. like Ben to everybody else and whatever. And then I realized, you know what? Um, I am doing this business to not because there's a lot of ways to make money, right? Wouldn't you agree, Mike? Like there's probably millionaires all around you in Thailand, right? However,
Yeah.
millionaires that have the same like autonomy that you have, the same lifestyle that you have, that's a little bit different story. Wake up when you want, dress how you want to dress, have the opinions you want to have, go to Korea on a whim. That's hard to find. And so one thing that I think I forget sometimes is like I did this business because I love money and I love having a lifestyle because I'm with you, bro. We have one life to live. And there's some people right now that are watching this from their freaking desk job in Pennsylvania that hate their life, but they refuse to take any action. So, a little bit more on the like technicality and the nuances. How do you do actual calls? Do you have like, do you have to use a dialer? Do you use, or does your phone work from Thailand to New Zealand, or you have an international plan? Like, how do you do cold calls?
Uh, I had a Skype number. I was doing cold calls when I started Rank and Rent, and I was doing cold calls all the way to about 15 to 20K a month. And I had a Skype number, so I was calling people from my laptop and my phone. Uh, but yeah, I don't do cold calls anymore. I just get leads from Instagram, and yeah, it's all done through Instagram messaging,
I love that.
which saves me $20 a month on Skype fees. But it's just more convenient. I just funnel everything into Instagram, and then I can just open it when I feel like talking to some business owners.
When you decide you want to pump up the revenue a little bit and deal with a little bit more money, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like today, I woke up and I thought it was Saturday, so I didn't check my phone at all. Then I realized that it was Friday, and no one was bothering me, so it's all good.
I
I
love
check
that.
my WhatsApp, like I give all my clients WhatsApp, like if I sign up with them, say, hey, like I'm available on WhatsApp, and that's the important platform because my DMs get a bit crazy. So if nothing's happening on WhatsApp, generally everything's all good.
I love that, dude. So let's talk about, because for people that don't have their Instagram set up and they want to go out and they're going to have to get those first kind of hustle deals and they are going to have to cold
Yeah,
call, you literally just jumped on,
100.
set up a Skype account, and you were just calling, basically using Wi-Fi, calling with a Skype number to New Zealand. Okay.
Yeah, the first year of traveling, I was cold calling, just as in the training for digital landlords, calling people on Skype. It had a bit of a sometimes it had a weird number when it didn't have the caller ID going, but most of the time it worked fine. Get the people on the line, and yeah, closed a couple of deals from overseas.
Did you ever have any business owners that said, hey, like they wouldn't pick up, or they were like, who's this? Or they were like sketched out because you had a weird number or anything like that?
I mean, sometimes the Skype number didn't work correctly, like maybe 5% of the time, and even then, only like 1 out of 10 people would say, "Oh, I didn't realize that you were New Zealand based because your number came up with +1 or something." But like you say in the training, you just got to keep calling them. Like you call them 3 times in a row because then they think it's important and they'll pick up.
I love it, bro. Imperfect action, dude. It's because what's funny is there are people I know personally that are in our program, or that I know that like any of those little things like that right there. Oh my gosh, the phone number is going to show up with a +1. I can't call until I get this new phone. Dude, people would actually not take action because of something that silly. A lot of people. And those same
Yeah.
people would sit there and go, "Oh, this doesn't work," or "Man, I hate my job. I can't believe that like I'm still stuck doing this thing." But like I'm very much like you, dude. I'm like, look, I'm gonna send it, man. I don't have the perfect script. I'm calling, dude. I'll call from my number. And guys, just to clarify that, if you call from a weird number, just right when you call, just address the elephant in the room. Hey, sorry to bother you. I'm calling from my cell phone. People have been complaining it's showing up weird, but I'm actually from New Zealand, right? Boom. Like you just overcome the objection before it becomes an objection. Like that's not a huge issue. But I think the more important thing is, Mike, is that you just take action, dude. Like there's a reason you're at 40,000 a month, 2 years into this, and dude, you did that so much faster than me. You know that like if you look at my 2 years in, I was 2016. By 2018, I was barely paying my bills, bro. Like, and most of my clients were like these hobnob SEO deals. You have, and
Yeah.
by the way, do you have SEO deals, or is all that lead gen?
It's about 90% lead gen.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, what is that? 36,000 of your 36,000 out of 40,000 is lead gen. That's incredible.
Well,
I think that's right.
yeah, I mean, a lot of the rank and rents clients want more. So they say, "Oh, wow, you've ranked that site so easily. Can you do it for us?" And then I'll have my like big boy package, which is about 6,000 USD, which is like a website built for SEO, Google Ads off the back of it as well.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so let's. Do you think there's ever a situation like I want to? There's so many things we could talk about, but I want to stick on this topic of does this work
Yeah.
outside the U.S.? Do you think if you? I know the answer to this, but I'm curious your opinion. If you decided tomorrow, you're like, hey, I want to do lead generation. I want to start getting clients in the U.S. Do you think that'd be an issue for you?
Yeah. I mean, the only potential issue will be the accent, but uh, I guess we'll have to find out. I mean, if I was convicted to get US clients, I'm sure I could do it. It would just take the hit rate would probably maybe be a little bit lower due to the slightly lower rapport, but you know,
Yeah, but I also think on that same note, because we've had a lot of students have success that have an accent. English is like you speak English, maybe you just have an accent because you're from New Zealand. But let's talk about people that are not even from the U.S. Let's take Francesca. Francesca has a pretty American accent, but she can get a little bit of that Italian accent in there, and it was kind of one of
mm,
her insecurities in the beginning. But I believe that if you're just calling to sell something to someone, then that's an issue, right? Because it's a trust thing. But dude, if you're calling up front and you're like, hey, I'm from, I'm from New Zealand, but I do business in the United States. I work with a guy here, 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 and here. I want to give you some free leads, and then I want to talk to you. If you lead with the free value, I don't see the accent ever being an issue, right? Right off the bat, I
Yeah,
think you
yeah.
just have to be a little more crafty, but that's the only difference.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think it would impact anything. Maybe
No.
the hit rate would go from 30% to 27.5%. But I mean, one of my editors, I think he's Russian. I don't even know where he's from. He just DM'd me on Instagram, and I had a problem that I needed fixing, which was editing some reels.
Uh-oh. Mike, you still there? We might have lost him. Mike, let me know if you can hear me.
And
Uh,
I don't care where he's from. Like he was the
oh,
guy for the
shoot.
job, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, there you go. You back, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you
Cut out a little
popped
bit.
up for
It's
a
all
sec.
good.
I'm back.
It's all good. You were talking about the Russian guy that needed to edit some reels, and you're like, you don't really care where he's from if he's gonna get the job done, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I mean, if there's business owners that are hungry for leads, then your accent's probably not going to matter. But to be rational, I'm a very rational person. Maybe it's going to affect it like 2.5%, but it's not going to prevent anything from happening.
What do you did before you went into New Zealand because you're from there doing rank and rent? Did you know anyone else that was doing this in New Zealand?
Uh, doing New Zealand. I actually met someone in from Rank and Rent before I left. He was he was an English guy, and he was based in New Zealand. Uh, Shout out to him. I can't remember his name, but he had a supercar. I was like, shit, this guy's crushing. He had some like big team. I was like, wow, this guy's obviously taking us pretty far. But he was an English guy, and yeah, he was operating out of NZ, based in New Zealand.
And was he doing he was doing rank and rent, the same.
Yeah, Rank and Rent.
Amazing. Okay. And but he had clients in New Zealand.
Yeah, he had clients in New Zealand. Uh, Ben, he's in digital landlords. He's got a couple of Australian clients actually. He's Canadian. He's Canadian. He lives in Thailand in the same city as me, and he's got clients in Australia. So that's a three-way
That's
combination for you.
That's a three times removed, right? We also have another guy in our program, Juan Finesi from Argentina, lives in Australia, and he's closing clients in Australia with an accent that's Argentinian. So
Yeah.
again, it's when you were leading with value up front and you guys are giving leads in advance, you're not calling and saying, give me your money, it changes the entire game. And that's just the reality. What countries, Mike, do you think you're going to just continue to focus on New Zealand? Do you think you're going to go into other countries? Like, what's your game plan?
Right now, I've got a pretty good kind of brand in New Zealand with what I do, because I've just focused on New Zealand with my like Instagram marketing. So I'm able to get quite a good, brand awareness. And I actually have a lot of people that hit me up say, hey, can we do rank and rent, or can you get me leads in this city with this niche? And a lot of the time I'll be like, hey, I've already got a guy that I'm working with, but I'll put you on a wait list. So I've got a wait list. So if someone cancels, then I've instantly got someone to fulfill that spot. So I'm doing a bit of that, and then I'm also doing a little bit in Australia as well. That's on the horizon. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with both of those. I mean, there's so much potential. If you look at the overall size of the market, it's just huge.
Okay, that leads me to a question I want to ask you. Is rank and rent saturated?
I was watching a video on this in terms of like market saturation, and if you actually look at how many trades companies there are or concrete companies, I think there's 500,000 dental practices in the US based on the video I was watching. Uh, and then if you niche down to just doing concrete in the trades industry, how many opportunities is going to be? Uh, you know, and as when you actually run the numbers, there's so much opportunity. And unless you want to be the biggest rank and rent guy in the world, you only need, you work back from how many clients you actually need to live the lifestyle that you want, or to quit your job or whatever it is. You only need like 0.001% or something like that to make this vehicle work for you.
That's what blew me away. I didn't realize how few clients you actually need to become a rank and rent millionaire. Like, and here's one
Yeah.
thing that people don't understand is, you have 32 clients and you're at 40 grand, right? You need to get to $83,000 per month technically to be on a run rate of $1 million. However, what people don't realize is that in the next, you're not going to need another 32 clients. Chances are, maybe 10 more clients from now, or 5 more, or 20 more, you're going to hit a client that wants to grow so big that that's going to be the one that goes and adds 20K to your bottom line, right? Like we just landed a deal. 2 weeks ago, Francesca it was $7,500 per month, right? That most people would think I need 7 clients. That's one client with the potential to grow because it's a big company. We actually gave them an option for a 10,000, and if we perform, we have an opportunity to do 10, 15 type of a deal. So it's exciting, dude. Couple niches,
For sure.
handful of clients.
Yeah.
That's all it
I mean,
takes.
yeah, I mean, to touch on saturation, like this AI automation agency stuff, it seems to be so popular right now. Like you got lots of big influencers kind of pushing it, and I think there's some validity to it. But all that does is take the attention away from rank and rent, which is such a classic business model of providing leads to local businesses. It's not sexy, but I think that's what makes it maintain its lack of saturation, because everyone's chasing the shiny new toy, which is the AI automation agency, and
Meanwhile, meanwhile,
that lets us just clean up.
I was gonna say, meanwhile, we're over here building the most hideous websites on the planet, getting paid thousands of dollars every month. And I'm not mad
Oh
about
yeah, no,
it.
no, not at all.
I love it, bro. I love it. Well, dude, I think I could have probably just brought you on and asked you to say how much you were making and where you're making it. It probably would have answered the question. But for everybody that's on this episode, we're talking about, does rank and rent work outside the US? I think the answer is obvious. Now, one last thing I want to address, like Mike already said, we're not saying that it's going to work as well in every country as it does in the next, right? I spend 3-4 months a year, sometimes 5 months a year in West Africa. Rank and rent isn't going to work there right now. People don't first of all, people just started getting smartphones like 2 years ago, like the masses. And even now it's still very like, hey, who do you know? Who should I use? It's very referral based. But what I've noticed is that a lot of other countries, they're kind of 2, 3, 4, 5 years behind the US, the West. And so what's working in the West, you can almost predict that's going to happen. It's going to work in other countries. And so there's going to be nuances, right? In UK, they call it tree lopping. Or in Australia, they call it tree lopping. In the US, they call it tree trimming or tree removal. Small differences, but it's the same concept. So we're not saying you can go rip a website in Tanzania and it's going to work as well as does the US. We're saying that this does work outside the US. There's opportunities, big opportunities. Mike's, for example, has carved himself out a nice little $40,000 per month income in New Zealand, not even living there. And no one even had New Zealand on their radar. And they still don't.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, yeah, I mean, we use Google to get the leads, right? That's a search engine that we use to get the leads in New Zealand, USA. I don't know how they do it in Tanzania, but these at the end of the day, we're essentially connecting people who need concrete laying or home service jobs to local tradesmen. So the vehicle doesn't matter too much as long as you can keep doing that. Then we'll keep getting paid.
That's it, bro. Well, thanks for hopping on this episode, man. If anyone wants to follow Mike because he has some really cool stuff that he shares, tell him your Instagram real quick.
You can follow me at Marcus V _. You can see me traveling around and living the laptop digital landlord lifestyle for some inspiration. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Nick, and we'll
No
catch up soon.
problem. And yeah, go follow him. I'll try to get it linked up so people can check you out in the notes of this show, and also if we put this on YouTube. But Mike V, thanks for hopping on, dude. Can't wait to get you to 83,000 per month, and we'll have another episode.
Yeah, but let's do it. Sounds
Thanks, bro.
good.
See you guys.